Greetings, my name is Nina, welcome back to the Metal Book Tavern. So, 2023 is coming to its end. I'm filming this video on 25th of December 2023. For those of you who celebrate, Merry Christmas. I think it was yesterday. Sorry, I don't celebrate. Maybe one day I will. Anyway, in this video I'm going to share my favorite things in 2023, from books to albums and to even jewelry and notebooks and blah 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 blah, and technology too. So let's get started. So first category in my list I have notebooks. Yeah, you can't have too many lovely notebooks, so I have two. Technically I bought one in the end of 2022, but I began using it in 2023 and I want to show you. If you watched my previous videos, you probably seen it. So the first one is this one, this spiral notebook. I've shown this in my videos and it looks like this. It's linear. Linears are the best. Here I have various things written, from my reading list to my accomplishments and to the list of books that I want to own, my favorite films. I want to make a video about my favorite films and blah 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 blah. This spiral notebook appeared recently in my Spotify Wrapped video because in this notebook I made my predictions for 2023 and I got some of them right. This is an IMB brand. This is a very beautiful spiral notebook. This isn't sponsored, I'm simply sharing what I enjoyed a lot. So this is what I have written and this is what I have left. So there's a lot to write ahead. Second notebook I bought this year and this is my first ever full bullet journal. Technically I did buy a bullet journal in 2022, but that doesn't count because only half of the pages is bullet journal, the old notebook I mean. This one on the other hand is a full bullet journal. In this is actually a reading journal because here I write my honest opinions about certain books. Some opinions are controversial in my opinion, way too controversial to reveal on YouTube. However, I did reveal some in my past videos, so I didn't write too much. Yes, this is how it looks on the inside. This looks like one of those Instagram reading journals or even TikTok reading journals or something. I didn't feel much because I didn't have strong opinions on too many books, but all of the books that I have written my opinion about, I have read or reread recently in past 2 or 3 years. And I did have some strong opinions that I didn't share on YouTube, some brutally honest, and there's more to write. Next on my list is jewelry. Yes, this is very random. I can't say I use too much jewelry, but I do really like this thing that I'm wearing right now in this video. This is a very beautiful locket. I love it a lot. And there's also this ring. So my old ring unfortunately broke and I had to buy a new one. I do have my broken ring saved. Maybe one day I'm going to fix it. So I'm going to have 2 rings. But yeah, I like this ring a lot. Next comes puzzle. So a fact about me, in 2017 I have accidentally sparked a New Year/Christmas tradition. So I really wanted to buy a puzzle in 2017. It just happened that I bought the puzzle in the late December. It was Ravensburger Van Gogh and I spent quite a lot of time building that puzzle. Building, or I don't know how that right word is in English, sorry. When the next year came, or even 2 years later, I took out the puzzle again. And I have accidentally sparked a tradition of buying puzzles nearly every year in the late December. Technically I bought this puzzle in December 2022, but I spent January 2023 building this puzzle, and the puzzle is this Lord of the Rings puzzle called Mount Doom. So you have Frodo, Gandalf, Arwen, Elwin, Gollum, Sam, and Aragorn over here. When I went to the store, there were 2 puzzles like that. I chose this one last year, and recently I bought another one, but I'm not going to show the new one here. Oh, this puzzle also has a poster. Yeah. Okay, now I need to pause for a minute because this would make a very cool picture. Maybe I'm going to post it on Instagram. Yeah, totally amazing. I really like this thing. Yeah, such an amazing puzzle. This is pure fun. I love it. Now let's go to technology favorites. So I bought this wireless Dynamics. This is a JLab Dynamic Trace 5. I got this for quite cheap because I happened to enter the store where I bought it when there were a lot of discounts, and I thought, while I have the chance, I need to buy this, and so I did. Yeah, JBL Trace 5. And so I have loud music playing whenever I feel like it. This is something what I wanted for quite a long time. I heard that this thing also has a function of microphone, but I haven't used it yet. Yeah, this is something very cool. I saw others use something like this, and I wanted a dynamic of my own, and finally I have it. It works so well. The sound is quite cool. Yeah, I'm glad I have it. My channel is way too small for sponsorships, so nothing here is sponsored, simply sharing my own experiences. Next is the microphone, and this is the microphone you see me using. Yeah, I'm sorry if the sound messed because I picked up this microphone. And I do even have the box for this microphone. It looks nice, but what's most important, the microphone itself works very well. When I first got the microphone, I didn't know how to use it, but then I finally learned how to do this. Here, what it says, you can use this microphone for individual calls, gaming, streaming, voiceover, podcasting, ASMR, vlogging. This is cardioid when you go solo. Well, the blue light means that you are speaking solo. This is how you are supposed to put up the microphone. So this side, this is going to be in front of you. This is how you do it. And there's also Omni, where this is actually green instead of blue. Because when it's green, you can do business calls, group streaming, group voiceover, multi-person podcasting, group music recording. Music recording. I wonder if I'm going to make proper metal vocals with this microphone. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm not a metal vocalist, but sometimes I do want to make proper metal screams, because why not? I'm not going to embarrass myself. Not yet, at least. Maybe in the future. And yes, I actually do keep the boxes. Well, just because. And in this box, there's something else. Oh yeah, finally. After a few minutes of struggling, I finally am opening this box. This is how it looks on the inside. This is how you put the microphone. And this also has some interesting things here. Allow me to check it. Well, it mostly has the USB drive and also the instruction on how to use it. And the color is very beautiful, to be honest. I like blue. I actually, when I got myself the microphone, I wanted to do the unboxing video, but I didn't. I don't do unboxing videos, at least not yet. And my final technology favorite is the camera I'm filming on. My Canon EOS M200. So I previously used a Sony camera and the quality wasn't that great. In January this year I got myself this Canon camera and my videos changed forever. I'm using this camera and it's much better. I think that this year I fixed my camera problem but I am yet to fix my lighting problem. The background isn't that shiny and you can see things properly. I would like to fix it in the future. Now let's go to the albums. Okay, to be honest, I haven't listened to too many albums this year. So last year, I listened to a lot of albums on Spotify, but I also made album of the day stories on Instagram. I don't do these anymore. This year, 2 albums came out by bands that I paid attention to. Something about them clicked with me, and the albums they released this year, they got me. The names of both bands start with B. The first album that I really much enjoyed is The Dark Tower by Burning Witches, so I paid attention to Burning Witches in 2021. The past albums did not click with me much, however, I did sense that those girls had a lot of potential, and I thought I would be looking forward for their next release, and they released The Dark Tower, and I absolutely loved it. I listened to the album 3 times, and the title song, The Dark Tower, ended up my second song on Spotify. So I'm looking forward for the new releases from these girls. The Dark Tower album is magnificent, and once again, it's not inspired by Stephen King. No. The album came out in May 2023, and I listened to the album the day it came out. Sound very cool, old school heavy metal right there. Second album is the self-titled album by Beyond the Black. I'm going to be absolutely brutally honest in this video. When I first encountered Beyond the Black, well, that was when I was watching Wacken Worldwide, their live performance there. I thought that they were absolutely generic manufactured symphonic metal band. However, something about them did click with me. Not right away, but still. And when Wacken 2023 came, I was waiting for other bands before I listened to Beyond the Black. I watched their live performance on Wacken, and it was very cool. Finally, symphonic metal that has a strong metal side, less symphonic, more metal, and the singer is very cool, and what's most important, they are their own thing, and this is a symphonic metal band that doesn't want to take after Nightwish. Seriously, I can say that one of the reasons that symphonic metal isn't my favorite subgenre of metal is that a lot of bands that I encountered, well, they wanted to be Nightwish, and nobody can be Nightwish, because Nightwish are one of a kind. And in general, symphonic metal themes and atmosphere and sound, they are not my thing. Way too soft for me. Beyond the Black, at least on this album, really does have some really cool riffs. Sure, not as powerful enough as I'd like, but they're still very powerful, very cool. Just listen to Is There Anybody Out There? Listen to that one. And I also loved Reincarnation, and also Into the Light and Dancing in the Dark, such solid song. The album came out in January, but I listened to it in August, well, after Wacken. I loved it. Well, these are 2 albums, yeah, I can definitely recommend to you. Okay, now I have to turn off the camera for a while, because finally we came to books, and books are going to take a long time, so wait for it. These are the best things that I read this year. Okay, this is just one fairy tale, but I am continuing to read this book. Well, I read nearly all of Hans Christian Andersen tales in this one. Well, I do need to reread some because I don't remember them well. However, there's one fairy tale that stick with me, and I'm recommending you to read this, and it's quite true. So this fairy tale is about the power of gossip and misunderstanding, and how one innocent thing can cause so much hysteria. I just read it. I love it. It's quite true. This is the best fairy tale I've read this year. Next book is Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. So I've heard about this book a lot, and finally this year I read this, and this was absolutely wonderful. It was very magical and full of adventure and so on. If you have never read Howl's Moving Castle, go for it. You can read this in one day, and it's quite easy to read too. The setting is magnificent, the characters, well, everything is very good here, so please read this. So the next best book of 2023 is Just Kids by Patti Smith. Wow, this was absolutely beautiful and very heartbreaking. So I bought this book, and then prior to reading this, I began listening to Patti Smith. I really like her music a lot. So I know that Patti Smith has published not only this book, but also some poetry and some other stuff. Just Kids really is really touching, and the end had me sobbing. And there's also this atmosphere of the 60s US, and I like it's very interesting to read about that time period. I do have some thoughts about this book, but this is not the video to reveal them here, so let's move on. Next best book of the year is The Crucible by Arthur Miller. Let's shout out to Blind Guardian because I found out about this book from them. I've never heard of it before they released Deliver Us from Evil. So this year I made the reading vlog dedicated to the books from the Blind Guardian songs. Well, the ones I read for the first time, because I didn't want to reread others for that video, and I've revealed all my thoughts about the book in that vlog if you are interested. But however, this is definitely something I would read again. It did kinda impress me. And no, I'm not putting this book in my best of video because of that band, but because I did really enjoy this book a lot. There's a lot to say about this book, and I've revealed what I think in that reading vlog, and maybe I will do a separate video on this book with the thoughts I wrote down in the bullet journal. Okay, let's move on. Next book is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. For this book I'm going to thank the book Leo. Okay, here's my story. In January I borrowed a book from an acquaintance, which is also the best book of 2023. It's going to appear a little bit later. I saw Daisy Jones and the Six there. Yeah, the title caught my attention, but I did not rush to pick this up until the book Leo released her video, Random Recommendations, I don't remember how it's called, and she recommended Daisy Jones and the Six. Sure, she recommended the book in an audio form, and it's kinda understandable why she recommended to read the book in the audio, but at the time I was not invested in audiobooks, and I decided to simply read the book, and I knew where to get a copy. I read the book, enjoyed it, and then I got my own copy with the cover that I like a lot. Yeah, seriously, this is the best cover. The book Leo convinced me to read this book when she revealed that this was about 70s, about rock bands and what happened to that band, why they disbanded, and then I was like, this is for me, this is for me, this is something I really want to read, and I did. And I'm glad I have my own copy because definitely I want to reread the book again. I really enjoyed the writing style. Definitely recommend this. Another recommendation from the book Leo, it's Humankind, A Hopeful History by Rutger Bregman. To be honest, I did not enjoy the middle of the book as much as I enjoyed the beginning and the late half, but this is definitely something I'd recommend for everyone to read. This is definitely the book that shows humanity from a different perspective. It's usually said that humans are naturally aggressive, so bad, selfish, blah 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 blah, and this book questions that mantra. This is the book that definitely portrays the best in humanity. At least it started, and I think there's more to come, I think. Next book is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. Again, this is the book that I read in the Blind Guardian vlog. I absolutely love this. This is probably one of the best Stephen King books ever. Okay, I keep forgetting that Peter Straub co-wrote this, but still. Quick note, maybe in the English editions of this book, Peter Straub's name is written in an equal font to Stephen King's, but as you can see here, only Stephen King shines. Well, the series is called The King for All Ages, Король на все времена, and in the back you have the Stephen King photo. Well, a lot of his books are published this way in Russian, but I really enjoyed this book. In some ways, this book reminded me of The Shining and even The Never-Ending Story by Mikhail Ende, and by the end it even reminded me of Lord of the Rings. Well, if you read the book, you know why, but I definitely say that this is absolutely an epic adventure, absolutely touching, and I felt sorry for the wolf. Definitely something I want to read again. Another Stephen King book is Misery. This book is very beautifully written, and the number one reason this book is in this list is because this is the first book, not just by Stephen King, but by anyone in general that managed to terrify me. Okay, I've read some terrifying books before, or at least books that had terrifying parts, but this book terrified me a lot, really strongly, and if you want a scary book, this is the one. Next book is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban by J.K. Rowling. Well, I reread the first 3 Harry Potter books this year, but I decided to only focus on Prisoner of Azkaban, well, because I read Philosopher's Stone and the Chamber of Secrets a lot back in the day, and then I reread Prisoner of Azkaban, and I can definitely tell you that when I reread this book, I realized that Ron Weasley is the best character in this book. He is so wholesome, very uplifting, very inspiring, and the scene where they are at the Hagrid's and when everyone is very frustrated, Ron is like, "Does anyone want tea? My mom always offers everyone tea when they are frustrated," or something along the lines. This was the scene that made me realize that Ron is definitely one of the best Harry Potter characters. Hermione, on the other hand, yeah, it's kinda a bore. Yeah, this isn't Hermione's best book. However, this is definitely Ron's best book, and the cover is amazing, and I also like how floppy this book really is. The next best book of 2023 is Children of Dune by Frank Herbert, the 3rd book in Dune series. So in case you haven't seen my previous videos, this book contains the first 3 Dune books. I began reading Dune in 2021, read the second one in 22, and read the third one in 23. Going to continue the books in 2024, yeah. I did not like the second one that much, but the third one I did. The third one is very cool. It focuses on various different characters, it has a lot of interesting ideas and themes, and the action is quite cool. And probably the best part is that Paul Atreides isn't much in the book. Reading the third one made me realize that Paul is the weakest character in the book. I mean, the weakest character is that he's not too interesting, he makes the story boring. He's even very unlikable in the later half of the first one and the entire second one. Children of Dune, yeah. Next book is Bunny by Mona Awad. This is one of the book Leo's favorite books, and I did not intend to read this at all. However, I found out that there's a library near in my area. I took some books there and I saw Bunny in English there. Out of curiosity, I got Bunny, and the rest is history. So this book is definitely not for everyone. It's very bizarre, bloody, very wild. So it takes all the cliches from the films about mean girls or something and mixes them, and the result is very, very bizarre. It's very weird. And I loved it. I don't have a copy because that was a library book, and I definitely want my own copy. I loved Bunny a lot. Yeah, definitely a cool book. Bizarre and magnificent. This is definitely has to be the most bizarre book I've ever read. The next book is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is the book that I originally borrowed from my acquaintance, the British edition. Loved it. I loved how interactive the book was, and my favorite parts of the book had nothing to do with the present day, with the third person. I loved the interactive part. Definitely the best part of the book. If you want a proper YA mystery thriller, pick this one. Definitely, this is mind-blowing, very cool. Okay, technically I haven't finished these books by the time I'm making this video, but since they are my rereads, I can add them to this video. I can definitely tell that the best series of the year is The Kingkiller Chronicle by Patrick Rothfuss. So reading these books again and in Russian made me realize that I love the entire series a lot. So previously I didn't like the second book that much when I first read it, but now I'm enjoying it a lot. I love it. Oh, I have already read this one. This is the first volume of book 2, and now I'm reading the second volume of book 2. There's a lot I want to say about this series, probably in a separate video. Final best book of the year is The Book Thief by Markus Zusak. I love it so much. So I really love this book. Always loved it, and I love it even more right now. The English version is very beautiful. If you haven't read The Book Thief, read it, read it, read it. This is one of my favorite books. Also, I have a video about the book, why it's worth reading, and I'm thinking of remaking that video now that I have the English version and I'm reading it from start to finish. And before I finish, 3 honorable mentions. They're not the best books of the year, but I really like them. King Arthur and His Knights of the Round Table by Roger Lancelyn Green, The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents by Terry Pratchett with a horrible cover, and Uncommon People, The Rise and Fall of the Rock Stars. Now in this one, I'm definitely going to read the first line. This is the line that probably is going to convince you to read the book. The age of the rock star, like the age of the cowboy, has passed. The idea of the rock star, like the idea of the cowboy, lives on. There's a lot to say about this phrase, but not in this video. Alright, that's all. These were all my favorites of 2023. What are your 2023 favorites? Let me know that in the comments. Happy holidays and so on. For those of you who are celebrating. See you next time. Goodbye.